they do is that during the winter season, the birds will migrate away to the warmer areas, right? So one of the places where these birds migrate is India, because we have we have a warmer environment. The example of the birds that usually migrate, you can see, is the Siberian crane. Now this is a very famous bird which you will see coming to India during the winters in the Bharatpur century. Right, Bharatpur century is present in Rajasthan, and you will see the Siberian crane. It migrates from the Siberia, that is the polar region, and comes to India. Apart from Bharatpur, you will also find Sultanpur, that is present in Haryana, where the birds migrate to. Then there are certain wetlands of northeast where these birds migrate. When we talk about migration, students, so migration is a process where the birds will move from the harsh environment, basically the cold environment, and go to the warmer environments to lay eggs, basically to breed. These birds migrate. Why do they do that? Because when the eggs hatch, these small chicks are very vulnerable and they need a warm environment, they need a good environment for them to grow. If the environment is harsh and extreme, the growth will not happen, right? So this is why, one of the reasons why the migratory birds move from the harsh environment during the winter. This migration occurs during the winter season, when the temperature in their native land goes as low as -37 degrees Celsius. These birds fly away during the winters and come to the warmer areas like India. Now, another question that you might, you might think is that these birds are coming all the way from the poles, right? So, from the polar regions. So, how do they migrate? How do they know that, okay, this is the area where they need to go, right? So, these birds actually, they fly up to, say, 15,000 kilometers, right, to get away from the harsh environment. So the question again remains that how do they do this? How are they able to, first of all, fly this long time, and how every time that these birds are able to reach, say, Bharatpur on a particular time, right? That means during a particular month, right? So let's understand how do the birds migrate. The very first thing is that these birds, the very first thing that happens is that these birds fly high. Right, and the reason for this is the wind flow, which helps them in flying. Right, wind flow helps in flying. Apart from that, the cold condition which is present on the higher altitudes help them in keeping their body cold. Right, so it helps in cooling the body. Why do they need their body to be cooled down? Because they are flying, right? So what they are doing is they are moving their muscle, and because of this movement, their body starts heating up, right? And when they are flying high, the cold condition of the environment keeps their body cool, right? So this again helps them in, first is the wind flow, and other is the cold environment or cold condition of the high altitude, which keeps their body cold. Now, how do they find their directions every time? How do they reach their particular place? Is because it seems that the birds have built-in sense of direction. Built-in sense of direction. This this theory is the theory is supported by the evidence that birds reach say Bharatpur or Sultanpur at a particular time. Also, we know in the olden days, birds like pigeons and ravens were used to send messages. So this shows that birds have a built-in sense of direction, right? Apart from that, what else they do is that birds will also have certain landmarks which help them, right? It is assumed that birds also have certain landmarks which helps them in guiding them to a particular place. Then birds are guided by the sun during the day, and during the night they are guided by the stars, right? Also, the birds find their direction with the help of the magnetic field of Earth. Right? So in this way the birds migrate, and these are the features which help them in migrating. Apart from that, there are other animals also which migrate, like butterflies and insects, right? Also certain fishes, right? These also migrate to the warmer or more hospitable environments. First of all, let's understand the climatic condition of the tropical rainforest. The temperature of this rainforest is comparatively higher throughout the year, and it receives a lot of rainfall. That's why we say that the tropical rainforest has hot and wet type of climate, right? The location of these forests is near or around the equator, right? So we know that equator is the largest latitude and of the earth, and around that these regions are located. The temperature in winters also is generally higher than 15 degrees Celsius. That means that in winters the temperature doesn't go lower than 15 degrees Celsius. That means it remains comparatively warmer. And in summers it can cross 40 degrees Celsius also. So you can see how hot this area is. The days and the nights are almost equal in length throughout the year. Usually in other areas we see that the length of the day and the length of the night varies depending on winter or summer seasons, but in the case of areas of tropical rainforest we do not see this kind of pattern, right? And because of this high temperature and excessive rainfall, we see that there are a variety of animals and plants that are present in this rainforest. So these are certain features of the tropical rainforest and the type of climate that is present there. Let's look at the areas where we find these forests. First of all, tropical rainforests are found in Western Ghats and Assam in India, right? Then apart from that, we also find this tropical rainforest or the climate of tropical rainforest in Southeast Asia. We've already seen certain countries which we saw that these countries have the tropical rainforest, that is Malaysia, Indonesia. We've already seen that. I'm just going to enumerate the areas or the regions where we usually find this kind of environment. Then Southeast Asia, Central America, and Central Africa. So these are the regions which have the tropical rainforest. The speciality of this regions are, or these countries are, that they have tropical rainforest because of such kind of climate that is prevailing in these regions. There are different animals also which are present in these areas. What are these animals? There are apes. Like I said, there are variety of animals that are present in this tropical rainforest. So we will see that these animals also are varied in their shape, sizes and different adaptations. So there are apes, then there are monkeys, right? There are gorillas, right? Tigers, elephants, right? Leopards. Also we see that there are different kinds of lizards, snakes, birds and insects. So there are so many different kinds of organisms and animals that are living in such areas, right? So now let's understand the adaptations of these animals. Now because these are very dense forests, and there is, as you can see, there are so many animals that are living in these forests. So there comes the competition of shelter and competition of food, right? And the competition of space, right? So this is why different animals are adapted in living in different areas. One of the places where many animals are found are trees, right? So there are animals which are adapted to live on the trees. The animals like monkeys and chimpanzees, these are the animals which are living on the trees, right? Because of the competition of shelter. So when they are living on the trees, they get the shelter as well as they get the food. Apart from monkeys, let's understand the example where we see that what are the adaptations which allow these animals to live on trees. One of the animals which can easily live on the tree is the red eye frog, right? It is the red eye frog which stays on the trees, as you can see over here. Where is it located? You can see it's sitting on a branch of a tree. How is the frog able to live on the tree is because of these sticky pads which are present on its feet. These sticky pads help it in climbing the tree, right? Right, so one of the things which help this frog in easily climbing the trees and staying there is this sticky pad which is present in their food. When you talk about animals like monkeys, they have how do they live on these trees is because of the tail, right? This tail, they have usually long tail which helps them in grasping the branches of the tree. Apart from that, you can see the hands and feet, as you can see over here, how this particular monkey is sitting easily on the branch of a tree because its feet are able to grasp the branch easily. So apart from the tail which helps in the grasping of tree, they also have the hand and the feet which assist them. So you can see how the feet over here is holding onto the branch while this particular monkey is sitting on this branch, right? And the tail not only helps in grasping the branch, but it also helps in balancing, right? When these animals are jumping from one tree to the other, this tail helps them in balancing, and this this avoids falling down, right? So they actually can jump from one branch to the other branch that might be far away with the help of the balancing pattern or the balancing of this tail, right? Then we move on and we see that different kinds of adaptations are also seen when it comes to obtaining the food, because we saw that there are so many animals. So this was in the previous example, we saw that how shelter was found on the trees, and different adaptations were there so that the animal is able to survive on the tree easily. When we talk about food, we see that there is a lot of competition on the food also. So the animals have developed certain characteristics which help them in obtaining their food easily. What are these characteristics? Let's understand with the help of these examples. First of all, let's talk about the bird that is toucan. As you know, this bird is a toucan, and the speciality of this bird, the very first thing which you notice in this bird is its beak, right? So this bird has a very special beak. As you can see, it's hooked and it is quite sharp and long. So this beak actually helps the bird in getting the food from the branches that are too weak to support its weight. So this bird is actually quite heavy, and the fruits which are located far off on the weak branches, this beak helps it in reaching to those fruits because it is a long beak, and the bird is able to fulfill the requirement of its food material. So what it feeds is on the fruits, right? So this bird feeds on fruit, and this beak helps it in obtaining the same. So if you look at the tiger, if you take another example and look at the tiger, so tiger has this skin or this particular type of fur which helps it in camouflaging, right? So these have the skin color which helps them in camouflaging, That camouflage means blending in its environment. Apart from that, these have sensitive hearing. Also, they have a keen or sharp eyesight. And they have thick skin, right? Such kind of adaptations are also seen on deers which are living in the rainforest. They have the skin color which helps them in camouflage. They have sensitive hearing, sharp eyesight, so that they can get the protection from the predator. And why do this predator, that is the tiger, have this? So that they can easily catch their prey, right? So this is the example of the different types of features that help both the predator and the prey to survive in the rainforest. Another example is a very unique kind of animal called as it's a monkey which is quite unique, found in India, and this monkey is lion-tailed macaque. Right? Why is it called the lion-tailed macaque? Because the tail looks like that of a lion. Also, you can see how it has a silver mane, right? Lion-tailed macaque is also known as the bearded ape or beard ape because of the silver mane that it has. So it is the silver mane, right? Where is this organism found? It is found in the western Ghats of India. Right? Western Ghats of India. Now, the most outstanding feature of this animal is, or the animal has, how can we distinguish this particular organism, this particular monkey from any other monkey, is its silver mane. This is the most striking feature which helps it getting the name, that is the bearded ape, right? So the silver white mane is something which surrounds its head from the head to the chin, right? So the whole face is surrounded by a silver mane. Now, what are the features of this particular organism? First is the silver mane. Then, it is a very good climber. Right, so this because this particular animal is a very good climber, it usually feeds on the fruits of the tree, seeds, young leaves, stems, and buds, right? So usually all the parts of the plant are its diet. Apart from that, it also searches the insects, right, from the bark. Insects under the bark of the tree. Now, because it, as you can see, all the diet, right, whatever it is eating is being fulfilled on the tree itself, this animal rarely comes down from the tree. So you can see that this animal is finding its shelter as well as its food on the tree. Because again, like I said, it's a macaque, basically it's a monkey. That's why it is a very good climber and is able to stay on the leaf for almost maximum part of its life, right? So this is a lion-tailed monkey which is usually seen in the Western Ghats of India. I would suggest that you remember all its features because this is a very important animal. Right, now moving ahead, let's talk about another important animal that is found in India, that is the elephant. Right, again this animal is very nicely adapted for the environment. This is one of the largest land animal that is present on the earth, right? So it is again adapted to the tropical forest, tropical area. What are the adaptations that we see? First of all, the very striking feature that you see is its trunk, right? So this trunk doesn't have any bone, right? So this trunk which it has is used as nose, right? And why is it used as nose? Because it has a very strong sense of smell. You can imagine how strong the sense of smell these elephants have, that they are able to smell water from few kilometers away, right? So this trunk acts as nose and it has a very strong smell. Apart from that, the trunk is also helpful in picking up food, right? This particular trunk doesn't have any bone, it is pure muscle, so that's why it is able to pick up, it helps in picking up food, right? Apart from the trunk, the animal also has tusks. Now these tusks are modified teeth. You must have seen modified teeth. You must have seen the animals with white tusk, right? Big tusk that they have, and this is what it is, the modified teeth, right? This helps in tearing the bark of the trees, right? So why it why the animal tears up the bark of the tree? Because this is something which the elephant enjoys eating. Then apart from that, if you look another important feature of the animal, you will notice the large ears, right? These large ears are again a very important feature, because these ears are they help in even hearing the softest sounds. So because of these large ears, they have a very keen sense of hearing. Apart from that, these ears also help in keeping the body cool, right? So these ears also help in keeping the body cool during the hot and humid climate of the rainforest. So in this way, we see how the animal is able, the elephant is able to have a proper mechanism or adaptation, so that they can obtain their food properly. Also, to keep their body cool, they have large ears, they have tusks, they have trunks. So this is a major adaptations that we see in elephants, which help them in surviving in the tropical rainforest and make them a very successful animal of the same. I hope you were able to understand the different adaptations that we see in the animals of the tropical rainforest. Now let's answer some questions.